everyone, I'm Adaline Bebo, and like so many of you at home, I'm cooped up for quarantine. But this feels like the perfect time to share my daily stretching routine with all of you, because if we don't get anything else out of this, at least we can emerge way more flexible. So with that, I'm going to dive into my daily stretching routine, but first I want to give you a couple of tips. For one, don't try to push yourself too far too soon. Your goal should be to stretch a little bit further every single day, but not all at once. So don't worry if you don't see progress at first, it will come with time. Second of all, breathe through these stretches and really listen to your body. You don't need to be injured because of this. This is supposed to make you better and prevent injury overall. So with that, let's get stretching. I begin my stretching routine with a deep second position lunge. I start with my hands on my knees and I push my shoulders in one at a time before going to my elbows. I use my elbows to push my knees out a little bit more and I rock side to side before going into this position on each side. Here, you really want to focus on pushing that hip toward the ground and getting a really good stretch through both of your legs. From here, I slide down into a straddle and I lean to one side. And I do this circle with my arm to not only stretch my shoulder a little bit, but to also get a better stretch through my sides. Those will be helpful if you're doing monster rolls. Those are good monster roll stretches. Then I go toward the middle, and the focus here is to get your belly button to the ground. No matter how far down you can go, you want to focus on pushing your belly button down first to get the best stretch. And repeat on both sides. From here, I come together and I bend one knee in toward the front and I lean forward to get a really good hip and glute stretch to help me warm up for those illusions. I shift to the outside and I give a little lean back to help warm up my back a little bit before we do bigger stretches later. And I lean forward and I rock side to side very subtly to make sure all of those little muscles are nice and stretched. Before sliding into the splits, you want to make sure that your hips are in line and it helps to walk your hands backwards. Once again, no matter how far down you're able to go in your stretch, walking your hands backwards and keeping your weight even on both sides of your leg will be helpful in getting a better stretch overall. Leaning forward, and then I grab my ankle and lift it off the ground, just ever so slightly to help get an extra stretch, and it also will give you some nice biceps. From here, I go into runner's position and I grab my opposite arm to grab my knee behind me, and this is a great quad stretch. I try not to lean out of my hip too much in that, so be aware of that. When I lean back, it's once again a good hamstring stretch. On this one, you really want to focus on keeping that back leg straight and getting a good stretch through your Achilles. And this position is one of my favorites. I'll do it several times usually throughout my stretching routine, but I just hang and I relax all of my muscles to make sure that I not only get a good stretch, but it kind of helps get my blood flowing. And I'll repeat this all on the other side. Keeping a good turnout is very important in your splits to make sure that you are stretching the right muscles. If you're not turned out, if your knee is rotated in, you can actually end up stretching the muscles that are too far to the interior, and you want a better exterior stretch so that you have better technique when you are doing your illusions or if you're doing any leg lifts or kicks. The flow of my stretching routine is one that I have put together over many years of just seeing what works best for me, seeing how the timing works, and really being in tune with my body. So everyone's stretching routine should be different, but hopefully you can take some of these and incorporate them into your own. Here, I lean forward and I reach with my knees nice and straight all the way to my toes. And this is once again another glute and hip stretch that will help you not only become more flexible for illusions and kicks, but will get you nice and ready for them. This is one that I do for my shoulders. I make sure my pinkies are touching behind me before sliding them backward to get a good shoulder stretch. Over splits are something that you can do no matter if you have your splits all the way down or not. I recommend beginning at a lower elevated surface like a single stair step or something small that you have laying around the house. Put that first leg with your heel right on top of it, and the first thing that you want to do is you want to take a deep breath in, and when you breathe out, I imagine that I'm sending that air through to wherever it hurts to relax those muscles. So beginning by breathing into it and walking your hands back, you can then lean forward, put your hands up, or even hold your arms straight out to the side to get a really good stretch. Next, we'll be stretching out the back. And this one is very specific because you really want to pay good attention to your body and make sure that you're not pushing yourself. So here I make sure that my hips are touching the ground and I'm not lifted off of the ground, but my hips are touching. And I lean back. Sometimes I'll have someone help me by pushing my chest backwards a little bit. And this is a donut, which is my very, very favorite because donuts are my favorite food. So after the donut, I slide back into child's pose to give my back a nice rest. I'll usually repeat that 2 or 3 times just to make sure I'm good and stretched before moving on. Next, one of my favorites is my toe stretch. Here, it's very important that you are aware of the alignment of your feet. So here in this view, you can see that straight from my knees down through my middle toes are straight in a straight line. So I'm not sickled or rotated outwards. That can hurt your ankles. Before I do my bridges, I do this little side twist to make sure my back is nice and popped out and ready to go. So I go into my bridge, and one of my favorite things to do is rock back and forth, and then I'll straighten my legs to really get a stretch in all of the different parts of the back. So this is a good lower back stretch to help me get ready for leg holds and for turns in my X strut, for example. And then I'll go down on my elbows, and that'll help me stretch out a little bit higher up in my back. These kind of help me with my balance too, so they double as a little strengthening exercise and can really help you coordinate your back stretches with your leg stretches. For me, I love to stand up very slowly out of my bridges to help my back get a nice, once again, stretch from the very bottom to the very top. So that was my daily stretching routine. It's what I would do before any twirling practice, and it could take me anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. So I hope that you picked up a couple new stretches to add to your own routine, and my inbox is always open. So drop any questions or comments that you have below, and until next time, happy stretching.